let's talk about scientific notation. This is pretty important. This right here, this is 3 times 10 to the 8th, and this is the speed of light. And it's a really, really big number. And then you have this right here. This is a really, really small number. And scientists are super lazy, and they don't want to draw these zeros, and it's annoying to kind of count them and draw them and all that. And so we use a shorter method to express these, and we call this method scientific notation. Okay, so we can take this really big number and we can express it in this little tiny number, which is so much easier. So I'm going to kind of show you how we got this, and then we'll do a few examples. And so hopefully by the end of this video, you will be scientific notation experts. Okay, so we take this and we place a decimal right here. Even if we don't have a decimal point, we go ahead and we make one, and we just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we change our decimal place to here. So we do 1.23 times 10 to the 11. That 11 is how many, that's how many of these things that we counted. And you will always put one number in front of the decimal place. You can have as many behind the decimal place as you want, but you only put one in front. And that's really key. And so this is how you do scientific notation for big numbers. So we just did this, but I'll do it again. So we have 123, 0, 0, 0. See how this is annoying, writing all these zeros? Scientific notation is so much easier. So we'll add that decimal place. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to add a decimal place right there. So I'm going to do 1.23, which is just these numbers right here. We're getting rid of all these zeros. And then we write times 10 to the 11. Okay? And in your calculator actually has a button, and it looks like this. And you can actually write this in your calculator like this. You do not have to do, I see a lot of students, they do 1.23 times 10 caret 11. You don't have to do that, and sometimes it won't work right. I would do this. If you have one of my yellow calculators in class, it has a button that looks like this, I believe. And you do just the same thing. So use these, because we'll be using exponents a lot, and it's a lot easier to write it like this than having to write that caret and all that stuff. So let's try a small one. Okay, so with a small one, you start with the decimal place over here, and so you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you'll do 1.0, and you can even just do 1 if you want. So we'll do it both ways. Times 10. Now, the last slide, we did 123 and we had 1.23 times 10 to the 11th. And this was a big number. So if you go here, we had 1 times 10 and we had 1.0 times 10. And we had 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're actually going to make a negative 6 here. Okay, so if you have a small number, you will have a negative exponent. If you have a big number, you will have a positive exponent. And this is how you do scientific notation. Okay, so let's do a couple more examples. This is a big number, so we know already we're going to have a positive exponent. I'll just abbreviate right here. I'm going to add my decimal place. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now this one, you can see that this is actually bigger than 3,427. So most scientists will actually just write this out rather than writing this scientific notation thing, because the scientific notation is actually longer. But in most cases, scientific notation is smaller. But just to let you know. This is a small number, so we're going to do a negative exponent. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we will have 9.84 times 10 to the negative 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can also see that anytime that you see a big or a positive number in your exponent, you know that that's going to be a big number. And anytime you see a negative number in your exponent, you know that that's going to be a small number. So that's another thing to just kind of keep in mind. Okay, now let's go backwards. Okay, we haven't tried this yet, so let's see how we do. We have 3.03 and it's times 10 to the negative 1. And so we want to make a smaller number, so we're going to have, we're going to actually move our decimal that way. Okay, and we're just going to move it 1. So our answer is going to be 0.303. Now, you don't have to put the 0 in front, but I like to put the 0 in front because it just kind of like reminds people that point is there, because sometimes the point's kind of hard to see. Now, let's try this one. We have 5.56, and that's a big number, so we're going to go this way. And we're going to go 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to draw my decimal right here. I'm going to add in zeros. And so my number is going to be 5, 5, 6, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I'll add some commas in here. So it's 5,560,000. Okay, and you can see that 5.56 times 10 to the 7 is a little easier to see, is a little easier to write, so that's why they write that. So that's how you do scientific notation.